Is 2022 the right time to buy a house in France? My name's Dan Newton. I've been in real estate in France for a little over 30 years now, and hopefully I'll have some answers for you. As you all know, the actual market in France has actually been all over the place, as it has been in pretty well the world over. If you take Paris, for example, Paris for the first time in decades is actually in negative equity. Prices have actually dropped in Paris. Nothing major, I think it's 1 or 2%. But the prices have actually dropped, and that hasn't happened for years. What with COVID, we've had a massive run from the towns to the countryside, like in a lot of countries. In the rural areas, if you go to the very rural areas, prices have actually gone up as much as 30% in the year. That sounds massive, but I'm talking about the very rural properties in the rural areas where you can get a 3-bedroom livable house for about 60,000. 30% on top, now 75, 80,000. So it's not the end of the world. In the urban properties, if you take Paris for example, minus 2%, okay, when you're paying 500,000 euros for a small flat in the right area, 2% does come into play. That's like another 10 grand. But basically, if you're talking like normal prices for normal people in normal towns, normal countryside, it quickly breaks down into the two factors: urban properties and countryside properties. If you're in the market for an urban property, all depends what you're looking for, obviously. The main key factor here in prices is actually outside space, whether that be a garden, a terrace, a balcony, or nothing at all as such. Flats with no balcony or nothing, they've dropped right down in price. Flats with a balcony but nothing else have actually dropped down in price from nothing major. After that, you actually have the, like they say, the penthouse flats or similar, which have a very big terrace area. Sometimes in Paris or in other big towns, the terrace is almost as big as the actual livable space, and they've actually held their price very well. In fact, they've probably gone up in those ones. Then after that, you actually got the townhouses. Townhouses, once again, does it have a garden or not? That is the main question. If it's got a garden, it's gone up in price. If it hasn't got a garden, it's come down. After that, rural properties, well, that's a different ball game. For many years, it was the towns going up in price and the countryside, well, I wouldn't say dropping, but not really moving forward at all, stagnant, let's say. And the prices in the countryside tend to vary. If it was a popular area, let's say with English buyer, where a lot of English come in and actually renovated the houses, and now they're coming back onto the market, let's say 15 years later, prices were moving up slightly because you get the old character properties fully renovated, which for many years the French weren't interested in. Now, what with COVID and the run to the countryside, the actual French are showing interest for the older houses as well. Everything is going up in price. Some of the very, like I said, some of the very rural areas, 30%, which is massive, in percentage wise, obviously. So, if you're looking for a property renovation project, first off, you need to find them. Secondly, they're usually, well, if you ask me, with 30 years experience in the business, are overpriced. Because if you're talking 100,000 euros for what's going to turn out to be a 3-4 bedroom house, but after all the work, you probably got about 200,000 euros to put into it. So yeah, you might break even with today's market, but you won't actually make a profit. You're better off buying a livable house and modernising it as opposed to buying a complete renovation job. Okay, budget goes up a bit, and yes, they are getting harder to find as well because everyone's going for that sort of property. So, is 2002 the right time to buy? Well, if you decide to do it, I think it's probably best to do it sooner rather than later, because certainly prices, as far as I can tell, won't be going down for a few years yet, not with the French system. And now it's a case of actually finding the right property for yourself. A lot of the vendors are out there trying to get a bit more because they know the prices are going up. There are still some good buys out there, but obviously the longer you leave it, the less chance you have to find the right place for you. Hope this helps. Bye.